to another episode of It's Deeper Than Code. Today we're pulling back the curtain on one of the highest paid, lowest barrier entry points into tech sales. Our guest, Jarrett Albritton, is a tech sales expert and the host of the Big Tech Energy podcast, where he highlights powerful stories of breaking the tech from every angle. Jarrett isn't just talking about tech sales. He's closed over $40 million in deals, helped countless people pivot into six-figure roles, and built a strong personal brand in the process. Whether you think you're not a salesperson or that tech sales is just cold calling, this episode is about to flip that mindset. We'll cover what tech sales actually is and why most people sleep on it, how Jarrett helps people with no experience land 100K plus offers, the top traits that make someone a beast in tech sales, how to break into the game without knowing how to code, and why tech sales might be the best kept secret in the industry. Let's get into it. Jarrett.
What's up?
What's going on?
Man, I'm excited to be here.
Likewise, very excited to have you. Well, just for the people that aren't familiar with you, could you just kind of like let us know, what's your backstory? Because you got a lot of, crazy things in your backstory, with the work that you did, kind of working with Clubhouse and, Clubhouse groups, etc. And then also like your background before tech and the cool stuff you were doing there. If you could just kind of let them, kind of know who you are.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Jarrett Albritton. I've been in the tech space since 2006. Started my career off at IBM, where I sold storage management software. And then the majority of my career, I worked with startups that were pretty much at infancy. And through my sales efforts and product efforts, we were able to get them to acquisition and IPO a couple times. And I'm currently the VP of strategy and sales at RightC. We're an AI-powered career services platform. We partner with higher education, workforce development, as well as nonprofits and professional development organizations focused on helping people get more interviews and get more prepared for those interviews utilizing AI. And one thing that he mentioned before, Clubhouse, so during the pandemic, the world shut down, and ultimately we're all stuck in the house. I got an invite to Clubhouse in October, and I had no intention of being like a leader or an influencer, but I saw a room called Black in Technology, and I popped into the room and I'm listening, and of course all you hear is about like engineering, cybersecurity, data science, which are all amazing careers, but nobody's talking about software sales. So I popped on stage and I shared some of my experiences and the ways that you can basically take your transferable skills and get into the space, and looked at my phone. And at first I had 80 followers. I looked at my phone, I had like 200. So I was like, wow, there's a real interest in this. Looked at my DMs, saw some, colleagues being like, hey, let's do a room the next day. Did the room the next day. It lasted for 8 hours. And ultimately, one, because I just loved seeing the enthusiasm of Black people trying to get into tech. I wanted to just give back because I'd been in the space for 15 years, and started hosting rooms where I would see, let's say, Dave from Microsoft, and he's an engineer. Hey, Dave, Microsoft engineer, come on stage. Tell me about how you started at Microsoft. Tell me about engineering and how that works, and how can other people get into your space. So I was just doing that every day. And then it turned into, hey, Jarrett, I'm trying to get a job at Microsoft, trying to get a job at Google, I'm trying to get a job at IBM. And I was trying to be the plug, but then I realized there's a bottleneck. And I had a ton of people mad at me like, yo, why aren't you responding to my DMs? I'm like, yo, I got 30,000 new followers. I can't get back to everybody. So I started doing these rooms called Recruiter Spotlights, where I would put 40, 50 recruiters on stage and at no charge to them. And they would share the roles. And a bunch of Black people got jobs in tech through that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it went from like 80 followers to 30,000 to 80,000 just by hosting these rooms and getting Black people jobs. And then I basically turned that into a podcast and turned that into a personal brand and working with other organizations that can help people get into tech roles and all different kinds of, spaces. But, tech sales is near and dear to my heart. And I'm definitely an evangelist in terms of how life-changing the money can be, how great the work-lifestyle balance can be, and how recession-proof it can be. Because regardless of recessions and layoffs, et cetera, if you're really good at sales, you're always going to keep your job. You're always going to be in demand because there's going to be companies that are laying off poor performing salespeople to poach you. But it is about being good at your job. So that's one thing that I think I try to convey in my podcast, Big Tech Energy, is it's not just about having certifications or, just kind of getting by. It's about being exceptional at what you do and documenting the results you get for your organization. Because if you can't do that, then like none of this Instagram, TikTok fantasies about how much money you can make in tech really matter, especially in this economy. You got to be good at what you do. But what I hope to do, today and, throughout all of my shares is how I was successful in tech sales, like what it was about my mindset, my approach, and my thought process that makes me successful, so that you can have all the smarts and the resources and skills, but if your mindset isn't there, then you're going to lack. And so, yeah, that's something that I try to talk about in my podcast. And that's something I try to make sure that people aren't set up for failure when it comes to this whole breaking into tech thing. You can get in and then be out really quick. But if you have a real passion for results for your teammates, results for your manager, results for your customer, you will have success. If you don't care about the results, then the results will kind of end up where they end up. I know I said probably more than I was supposed to, but yeah.
No, that's great.
That's probably the best answer to that question I've ever asked.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. No, I'm passionate, man. I just don't want to see us like lose.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And I really appreciate all the influencers that are putting people on to opportunities. I just want us to just really think about excellence in everything that we do and not just, I'm going to toggle my mouse so that they think I'm working while I'm at the pool. Yes, you can do that. And that's a great part of being in tech, but you really have to earn your way to that position. And then once you earn your way to that position, you got to have systems in place and processes in place to where you're constantly adding value to the company and you're not like a cost and a liability. And 2025, with everything that's going on, DEI being slashed, people getting laid off, I just really want to emphasize that point before I start talking about money in tech sales.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, what is tech sales?
Yeah, so in the basic form, it's selling technology to businesses or to individuals to add some sort of value or solution to their day-to-day, their business, whatever the case is. And so the way I think about tech sales is you're really a business consultant. You're really consulting with business stakeholders, CMOs, CTOs, CFOs. What are your business problems? And like, how does that impact your business? And what are the metrics that you're measuring to ensure that your business is going the right direction? Or how are you being measured as a, sales leader, as a finance leader, whatever the case is? And so we're really about asking discovery questions, understanding what is their need or what is their pain, where are they challenged, and then how can our technology get them to their goal or alleviate that challenge so that their company can hit the goals that they're trying to hit. If my product costs $100,000, I need to be able to show them how it's going to give them $200,000 in cost savings or $300,000 in revenue increase or decrease the chances of a multi-million-dollar cyber attack. So it's really about identifying the problem, showing how you can solve the need, and then proving the financial impact that your technology will have beyond the cost. So these can be, multi-million-dollar solutions. These can be 100,000 plus solutions. These can be, $10,000 contracts, depending on the types of solutions. But you don't need to be technical to be in tech sales.
Okay.
You probably were going to ask that, but like, it's really about being a quarterback within a software organization. So, okay, I met with the CTO and here's the problem. So I need to bring in a sales engineer to help me do the demonstration and explain all the technical aspects of the solution. I need to ask the questions in terms of what is the budget for this project? Who makes a decision on the project? What is the impact of this problem on your company? And what happens if you don't do anything? What is the timeline that you're trying to solve this? Who else are you looking at besides us? So my goal is to identify, is there an opportunity? Are we the right fit for the opportunity? And when can they actually buy the platform because I have a number that I'm basically being judged on, an annual quota and then quarterly quotas and then sometimes monthly quotas. So my job too is to solve a problem for the companies, but also to make sure that I'm hitting internal number goals in terms of the amount of revenue I'm supposed to bring in. And then I need to be able to forecast accurately. This quarter, I'm going to bring in $400,000 between at least these three opportunities, but more than likely, I'll be able to get some combination between these 8 companies. And here's their timeline, here's their decision making process, here's their procurement process, their legal process, their technical process, and here's why I'm going to be able to get it signed at this point. That's a huge part of my job too, because just like the companies that we're serving, we also have investors, we have shareholders, et cetera. So the software sales are kind of the most important role at a tech company because you can't grow from Series A, Series B, Series C without sales increasing. You can't increase your stock price without sales hitting targets.
Right.
And so, like, we are the frontline people that are closing the multi-million-dollar deals. And then we're the ones at the beginning of the quarter saying, hey, Microsoft, you can forecast to the stock, to NASDAQ, that we're going to do 3 billion in sales. And every single salesperson, from me to the other person on my team, our numbers all roll up to that 3 billion. So if we're under forecasting each of our territories, the Wall Street's going to see a $2.5 billion achievement on a $3 billion forecast. Boom, the stock price goes down, everything goes crazy, blah, blah, blah. So like software engineering, product, cyber, all very important. But sales, without sales, the lights aren't on, the money doesn't get raised, the jobs get slashed. And so that's why I say it's recession proof, because even in down years, they're still going to be prospecting for the best sales talent, because the best sales talent will help them stay above water, hit goals, keep growing. And then there's always going to be new companies popping up that need really experienced salespeople to basically set the tone of structure and then drive, revenue. And so, like, there's always new sales jobs popping up. And if you're a top performer and you brand yourself accurately on LinkedIn, your inbox is constantly going to be flooded with headhunters.
Really?
That headhunters, if for people that don't know what headhunters are, they're people that recruiting firms that work with multiple tech companies, typically startups, and so they'll have 4 or 5 accounts where their goal is to get the best quality salesperson, staffed for that client. So these headhunters are super aggressive because they got so many seats to fill and a lot of pressure and a lot of money on the line for them. So what's great about that for us is if you put on your LinkedIn, hey, I was a President's Club, top 3% in sales, hit quota for 8 straight quarters. You put that on LinkedIn, headhunters are circling around you like blood around for sharks, like sharks scenting blood. Your DMs are gonna go crazy with, hey, over here we got this, we got that, we got these perks. Can we get you on a call? They're selling you on why you should leave your company where you're killing it at to come to replace that salesperson that didn't perform. And so that's constantly happening. And that's why I try to also push at the very beginning, like, excellence is the focus. If you really want to be successful in sales, then you got to really think about, all right, number one, what products actually work? What products are the top 1, 2, or 3 within that space? What are some industries that I already know things about, so I'm not like coming in there completely new, so I can have some sort of advantage going in, and I can say, hey, educator, I spent time as an educator as well. I understand your problems, blah, blah, blah. And then the other thing is like actually caring about delivering on the promises. Like, that's the thing that salespeople screw up with the most is they come in there trying to convince people by capping and saying like, yo, we can do that. Oh yeah, we've done that. Oh yeah, we can solve that problem. And then when the contract's signed and it's time for the results, it's like, oh yeah, nah, that's going to be ready in Q4. dude, I signed it because I thought it was had it right now. So I see my colleagues screw up with that a lot. They'll get a big commission check and a pat on the back in the short term, but then they'll get killed throughout the contract because there's an angry customer that's blowing up customer success and account managers and executives like, yo, you sold me some BS. And then your reputation is messed up. Not only within the organization for all the people that had to like clean up your mess, but also for the customer. They see you as somebody that's full of crap. So no matter where you go in the future, it's a risk for you to even show your face there again. So like, if you find a really good product in an industry you're familiar with that actually works, that has provided business value from other customers, then you're in a good shape. And then if you actually have integrity about caring about results, you're in great shape. And then, and I'll kind of stop going on a rant, and so you guys can ask questions. But ultimately, like, if you can over deliver for everybody that you come encounter with as a salesperson, you over deliver for your teammates, you over deliver for your manager, you over deliver for your customers, you are always going to be successful. And that's the part that people don't think about. They just think about getting the deal done. But if you over deliver on the results, then I will have an executive in every part of the country and every industry on, speed dial, ready to talk to another executive that's evaluating us to tell them how great of a decision it was to move forward with our company, but also working with Jarrett as a person. He's got your back. Everything that he says, he follows through. He's very responsive. We had an issue. He solved it. We trust Jarrett. Like, that's my goal with every person I encounter, is for them to say, we trust Jarrett. We appreciate Jarrett for following through on what he says he's going to do, and you should work with him. And that's basically how I've made so much money in software sales, is once I bust my butt, get some opportunities, close those opportunities, I am dead focused on over delivering. Oh, I think we can get 2x revenue increase once we implement this automation solution. If we get to 3x, would you be willing to talk to other CTOs that are evaluating us to tell them how, your experience was? Jarrett, if you get us a 2x revenue increase, I will scream from the rooftops. I'll be your biggest cheerleader. I'll shout you out on TikTok. I don't care. Whatever you want. Yeah. I'm like, cool. So then we implement it. It's 3x. Hey, remember when I said 2x? It's actually 3x. I got the CTO of Walmart, Walgreens, and Pepsi. They don't want to talk to me. I'm just a sales guy. They probably think that I'm BSing. But it'd be great to hear from you, CTO Samsung, what the problem was, how we solved it, and then what the results were. Would you be down to talk to them? Hell yeah, I'll talk to them. You had my back. You did well by me. But psychologically too, like, these executives love to talk to other executives about how great they did and how smart they are and what kind of great job they've done. And it's a great circle, right? So CTO to CTO, it's a great network. So like, they were happy to talk to other executives, but as long as I delivered the results, as long as I make them look good. And so now these year-long sales cycles that would have taken 20, 30 meetings, I'm now getting straight to the top saying, hey, I know you don't want to talk to me, but are you down to talk to CTO Samsung? Yeah, I'll talk to them. Okay, great. I'll follow up with you on Tuesday once you talk to them. Hey, how the conversation went. Man, they love you. They love the solution. The things they were talking about really resonate with me because we've been having these challenges. So what's the next step? Well, Julie, Brad, and David would love to meet with them, go through a deep dive of how everything works, and then we'll report back to you what they think, and then we'll talk about next steps. So getting to those 3 individuals would have taken me like 9 months of just meetings. And by the time I get to them, they're like, yeah, I go golfing with your competitor. I'm good, right? So now I get straight to the top. They take me straight to the people right beneath them. The people right beneath them are like, well, if David is telling us that this guy is great and this stuff is great, let's just go with it. Like, it's less risk on us. Why did we make the decision? Well, you told him he was great. So now they're kind of just going through the motions. They're not even trying to give me a hard time because there's an endorsement coming down. Now that year-long sales cycle turned into a 3-month sales cycle. And now we can use the business case that we did with the customer that they already spoke with as a justification for why they should spend $250,000. And now they're not trying to like negotiate us down. Oh, it should be 200,000 or whatever. They're like, all right, $250,000, that sounds reasonable. And boom, a 3-month sales cycle, big deal that would have taken 3x longer. And it's just because I have social proof that's willing to talk about me to other people. And so you could take this example and just apply it to anything in your profession. And it's just about delivering the results, conditionally closing them on doing something for you if you get them the results so that they're accountable. If I didn't say that before and I said, hey, we're at 3x now, they might be like, so?
Exactly.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But if they remember the emotion of that conversation 6 months ago and where we are now, then they're like, yeah, you're right. You did that.
Like whatever you say.
Exactly. So think about that too, just as like with your regular life. You know you're about to go crazy on the results. Be like, if I get this result, would you be open to talking to other people about the result I get you? Hell yeah. And then over deliver, document it, and then say, hey, remember that conversation 3 months ago? Like anything you do, I do it all the time. And it's not because I'm trying to manipulate, it's because I know I'm good at what I do. I know I'm going to get results. So I'm going to maximize the results I get you by getting you to help me get more results, which is more customers, more word of mouth, more speaking engagements, more podcasts, whatever it is. Like if I over deliver for you, talk to the other people like yourself, help me get more business.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what? I always do this for the audience, but yeah, that was for me.
Yeah, no.
I took all that like, wait, hold on a second.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write notes later. But no, that's incredible. And then also just speaking about it, like, also being somebody in the tech industry, I've been on the side of, where a salesperson didn't sell the product properly. And then now we, being on the engineering team, are stressed out about trying to like meet the thing that they said because we can't now lose that revenue or have an issue. And then now I got to work 947 million hours in order to try to do XYZ, which is an unreasonable expectation. So, yeah, I have a vested interest in hoping that more people hear what you just said and do it that way. So, yeah, I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no, 100%. It puts y'all in a terrible position as a product team, as a customer success team, the ones that have to actually deliver on everything that I said we do. And, just in terms of like career-wise, beyond selling more software, actually delivering results makes everybody look good.
Exactly.
From the SDR to the engineer to the account manager to everybody, right? So people are going to remember not only, things you did, but how you make them feel. And so, like, that was another thing I thought about as a tech salesperson. I hope people that get into tech sales think the same way, is every single person that helps you with a deal, make sure that they are congratulated and celebrated equally as you. So that when you leave the company and they leave the company, if somebody asks, like, what's a great salesperson that we can go reach out to that can just deliver, I'm going to be the first person they think of every time, because they remembered how I shouted them out every time I closed a deal. I said I wouldn't have been able to do it without our legal team that got through that hard negotiation, or our sales engineer that really went through that detailed RFP and provided all of that great technical expertise. My first line manager for being the bad cop on that negotiation and help us preserve the pricing. Our CRO for blah blah blah. Like I'm giving everybody props. The SDR, the freaking janitor for keeping the cups clean. Like, and so you never know where people end up. There's people that were my SDRs that are now VPs of sales. Because I've been in the game for a minute. I've been in it for 18 years. So like, there's people that I was working with then that are now VPs that are like, hey Jarrett, you want to come work with us? I'll get you as much money as you want. Because I was the person that really elevated them by saying, yo, this SDR definitely deserves a shot as an AE. The way that they do X, Y, and Z, it's amazing. And I do that always on my way out. So when I'm leaving the company and I don't need the SDR anymore, to be honest, because they've killed it for me, I'm like, yo, make sure this person gets a promotion. They are that woman, that dude, and I make sure that I copy the SDR on it with the manager so they understand like I got your back. And it's not for just strategy. It's really just being a good person and making sure that people that have had your back, you have their back and you put them in great positions. Because not enough people do that. And so it shouldn't make me stand out, but it does. Because not that many people are giving props. They want to say, yeah, it was all me. I'm the man. Where it's like, nah, everybody had a play in this and they did extremely well and appreciated them. And then while I'm at the company, last thing I'll say is if there's a RFP due on Friday for 3 sales reps, who's probably going to get worked on first?
Right.
Me.
Yeah.
Because I've been steadily having their back. I've been put in positions to win, look good. I'm not over promising things to the customer, so they're not having a freaking tap dance and BS. They also know like I'm probably going to get the job done and I'm going to grow the account. So let me work with him because the other sales reps are lying all the time. And they're making me make up stuff and they're putting me in situations where I have to like work over the weekend. And so like, not just in tech sales, but in everything, make sure everything you touch is successful and make sure everybody that helps you win gets recognized. And it turns into like a lot of money where it's not necessarily like I am obsessed with money, but it's just like the money starts coming easier because now I'm just reaching out to executives being like, all right, how much are you going to buy this quarter? All right, bet. How much are you going to buy this quarter? Can you talk to these people? Okay, you just talk to them. How much are you going to buy this quarter? Like it starts becoming that type of thing, but it only happens that way if the product works. As an engineer, you know, there's some products that just don't work.
Yeah.
And then, are you under promising, over delivering? If you do that, then the money just starts coming really easily. So yeah, but I'll stop there and I'll just kind of open it up to more questions. I'm kind of in my TED Talk mode, so I apologize.
And
Oh no, I like it. I did have a question though. What would be an example of a good product to sell, like to start off?
I like Salesforce as a company to start off with because they're hiring tech sales on a crazy pace. They have a really good training program. Their CRM product is pretty dominant. It's pretty easy to explain technologically. And now they're selling AI agents where basically it's like replicating people's job functions. So instead of somebody being, getting paid $60,000 to work 40 hours a week, you can buy a solution for $50,000 where they're working 24/7. Yeah, so I think Salesforce is an interesting position with Agentforce where, and I'm not like, I don't work with Salesforce or whatever, but just like technology-wise, if they are able to become like the Google of AI agents, then I think that's going to be a really cool place to be. And, they're really putting their hard push and they're hiring a lot, which I like because I just like to be in places where they're hiring a lot because that means they're in growth mode. And if you're in growth mode, then that's easier to get promoted. Another place that I think is great is anything that's associated with the cloud. I think cloud is going to be around forever. Cybersecurity sales, cybersecurity threats are only going to get more dangerous and difficult and prevalent, especially with the world climate. So being able to sell really good cybersecurity solutions, I think, is a really good place to be. But I would just say, like, if you come from an industry, like if you come from marketing, then I would sell marketing automation software, marketing technology, because you can at least talk about when you're managing a campaign, these analytics and data are really important. Our solution does it this way. Like it just helps you interview wise, it helps you with the customers, and also helps with your just overall effectiveness in terms of talking about a solution, understanding the customer's perspective because you've been there, and then being able to actually like execute on the vision because you've been on the other side. So those are a couple of things that I think about when it comes to tech sales roles. And then also, lastly, I love startups, Series A, Series B, Series C that have gotten a huge influx of cash, where the influx of cash was mandated to increase sales. So we're going to increase sales reps by, we're going to hire 250 sales reps, and then in 4 years we want to have 1,000 sales reps. Those are the type of companies you want to work at, because if you get in early enough, number one, you get incredible equity. You have great access to the CEO. So you close a deal, the CEO is freaking out, like, oh my God, like we closed a deal because they just got out of the garage and they just got $50 million. And now they're seeing big logos come in and you're the one that's bringing them in. And then you become kind of like a trusted advisor. So as they grow and grow, you're kind of like rising up if you want to, or you can just be an individual contributor and just like make a ton of money as a rep. But you can typically just rise up with the CEO, and then that's a great way to become like a VP of sales in like 3 to 4 years, 5 years, versus going through IBM and you start off low and then it takes you 15 years to get there because there's just so much politics and employees. But if you want to get to that, start at 70,000 and then get to 120, 130,000 in like 5 year span, work for a startup that has a really strong product that works, disruptive technology, a lot of investment dollars, and you're just kind of coming at the right time. You got a bunch of territory just available to you. You got pickings on accounts, and you just got to take advantage of it and be like, all right, I'm gonna call on all the biggest accounts with the biggest budgets while there's no territories and teams and all kinds of crap. And then you just watch the team get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you can just rise up as management, or you can be an individual contributor and just build out your territory where you candy picked all the best stuff, and now you're just constantly growing those accounts. So once I left IBM, that was my strategy. It's like go to startups, really good product, disruptive technology, great business cases of results, good equity, and small teams, and I have access to the CEO. If I have all those things, then I'm gonna outwork everybody the first year, get all of those reference customers the second year, get those reference customers to sell to my other customers, and then get those reference customers to grow, and yeah, just make more money and ask for more equity, ask for more salary because I have the trust of the CEO. I get it, until a headhunter comes to me and says, "Hey, we can give you 30,000 more base and a huge equity package and blah blah blah." Then you just kind of got to say, "All right, I've done everything I can at this organization, you know, unless you guys are willing to raise my salary 30,000, which usually doesn't happen." Then it's just like, all right, it's time to go, and you just gotta just keep it moving. But I love startups for those reasons. So either a big company that can give you the resources and a really good product, or a startup where you can really grind it out, but grow with the organization. And one resource I would give to people is RepVue, REPVUE.com. It's kind of like the Glassdoor for sales. So you can see like how many reps are hitting quota, what do reps think about the CEO,
Oh, wow.
what do reps think about the product, all those kind of things. And that's a good way to find some like under the radar.
And it's anonymous, I'm assuming, the same way, right?
Yeah. And it's under the radar. Like companies are like, damn, like 80% of the reps are hitting quota. Average reps are doing, 300,000. But I've never heard of this company. Like those are great places to start for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, that's kind of, you put that one in there at the end. That's a really good good strategy right there.
Yeah, it's all about data when making decisions. So the more you can understand, like, are reps hitting quota? Do people like the management? Is turnover really bad? Why is turnover happening? You know what I mean? What's the culture like? Those are all important things. And then I would say the biggest thing that is important when identifying a tech sales job is the first line manager. What's your chemistry with them or your vibe with them? Have they sold the product before? Were they a top seller? And do you get the vibe that they're going to be the person that jumps in front of the bus? to protect you or throw you under the bus to protect themselves. Because you could have a great product, great company, great culture, but your first line manager is a pencil pusher, a politician, doesn't know how to sell the product, gets in your way, actually like makes your job harder. Nah, we
That's a
should
hater.
yeah, we should charge them like, oh, that's too low. You should charge them 50K more. What's the justification? Ah, because if we don't ask, we're not going to get it. And then we go in and they're like, yo, y'all are smoking crack. What are we doing?
Now you look crazy.
Exactly. And it's like, damn, this deal would have been so easy. But that doesn't happen with a manager that was a top sales rep. He's like, all right, let's just get the deal in and let's grow it, because they get it. He or she gets it. And so if I'm going to work for the top sales rep that got promoted, let's do this. Love it. Because you don't have to be a great manager. I just want you in my meetings to make my deals easier. And when I tell you that a customer is tripping, you get it. You know what I'm saying? But when you get a manager that comes from another company that's never sold it before, and they're like a dinosaur and we're in a new age,
Yeah.
it's frustrating as hell. So that's another thing that I would say is like, everything I'm telling you is cool, but be very cognizant of your first line manager. Like, do you vibe with them? Like, do you think you would want to grab a beer or a non-alcoholic drink with them? Because if you couldn't, or if you get a kind of a snaky vibe, then I don't know, just use your gut, because yeah, it's even as a great salesperson, a bad manager will still find a way to work your nerves.
That's when you answer your LinkedIn DMs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I start, like, I have a message that I copy and paste to the 50 headhunters that I ignored. Well, I don't ignore them. I always say, I'm not in the market right now, but if anything changes, I'll let you know, because I want them to know, like, I respect your time. But then I'll just hit like 50 like copy and paste messages. So I want to just kind of update you. I'm back in the market and open to conversations. If there are any open roles that you think I should be considering, please, reach out and let's have a conversation. And then out of those 50, I'll have like 40 responses, because these headhunters are hungry.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, damn, he's on the market. Let's grab him. You know what I mean?
Jump.
Yeah. So I don't know if the market is like that now. It's been a while since I've been out in the market. Like, every job that I've gotten recently has been through my network. But I hope it's still like that. And I think it is from what I hear. But you just got to be really good, and you got to promote yourself on LinkedIn really well.
Definitely. Well, let's ask this. Why do so many Black professionals miss out on six-figure tech sales jobs?
They don't know about it, ultimately. Like, I just don't feel like we're really applying for it. Also feel like there's a mindset that sales is gross. You have to cap, you have to lie, you manipulate, deceive, finesse. Like, all of these negative connotations come with sales because of people that do sales in a wrong way. Too much pressure, pushy, say whatever it takes to get the deal done, lack of integrity. So I think people would rather do these other roles because they seem to have more stability. Because in sales, if you're not selling, you're not closing deals, you're not getting meetings, you're out of a job. So the lack of stability, I think, is scary for a lot of Black people. They just want to know, like, I'm going to have a job. But I personally like to have numbers that dictate my job security, because I feel like I can be in more control of the numbers than politics.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, numbers, people lie, numbers don't. And so politically, I might not be that great. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not at the water cooler, like, yucking it up with Becky and Kyle. You know what I'm saying? But but I'm doing 130% of my quota. You know what I'm saying? Now, it is always better to be liked and do well with tech sales. So everything that I just talked about helped me be liked, but it wasn't because I was kissing butt at Christmas parties. And I just don't want to have to do that to keep a job. And I feel like in some other places where results and success are kind of subjective, I think you're easier to get laid off there. If I'm doing 150%, 180%, 220%, when layoffs happen, I'm not worried about nothing. You know what I'm saying? And so I love that, for me, security of you either put up or you shut up. And if you shut up, it's on you. But I think for some black people, they just see that as a risk of like, oh man, the pressure. Every quarter, I got to hit a number. And I get it. It's not for everybody. And that's why I promote other resources that people can get into cybersecurity or engineering or data science or these other things. Because, you know, sales isn't for everybody. But I think the connotation that it's like a gross profession, and then the thought process of job security and pressure, I think that kind of scares a lot of people away. And I probably could get more people into tech sales if I talked about the money more. But I also fear getting a bunch of people into the space that aren't really going to do what needs to be done because they just want to get to the money and they won't have the patience to get to the money that they need to, or being willing to put in the stuff. So that's why I just kind of keep it very boring and just focus on like the mindset and the tactics of the job. So I might not get as many people converted into tech sales doing how I do versus like showing off a car or trips or whatever. But I personally, number one, I don't like to attract the kind of attention. And number two, like I said, I just want people to have the mindset of like over deliver, have integrity, find a product that works. And if you do that, you can make $250,000, $500,000, $1 million W-2s for sure. And then you can work at companies where you get equity that turn into millions of dollars for sure. And so I want to make that clear that you can make that kind of money. You know, I was doing $250,000, $500,000 majority of my career. But it was because I wanted to make sure that my teammates won, my customers won, and my management won as well. I had that mindset, so it turned out that way. But if I would have been just in it for the bag, then I probably wouldn't have had that success.
Cool. We're going to pause right there so the editor knows. What I want to do real quick now, because of where you took everything, what I want to focus on, and Chrissy just asked these particular ones, go to question 4 and then go to 7 and 8. Like, so do 4, 7, and 8. Like, just ask those 3.
Okay.
And we'll ask them back to back because it's going to flow better because of what you already spoke about.
All right, cool.
Cool. And then unpause.
So what makes tech sales better than a coding job for the right person?
Tech sales, well, I'd say the right person for tech sales is somebody that likes to talk business, likes to like be more strategic than like tactical. So like, but I would say what makes tech sales better for some people is if you like interacting with people, if you like to travel, if you like to attend conferences, and you like to build relationships with people and manage people, then you're going to have a much funner experience doing tech sales. Where coding, and I've never been a coder, so I don't want to talk about like the lifestyles of a coder, but from my experience of a coder, you have to be really meticulous and detailed and just locked in. You know what I'm saying? Where tech sales, you can be a lot more creative, and you can have a lot of fun with the role too. Yeah. Like when I was at IBM, I had a corporate card, and we had tickets to the Knicks games, Giants games, Jets games, Yankees games.
Get into tech sales.
Yeah, man.
Trying to convert me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and this is when I was like 23, 24.
Lit.
And yeah, it was fire. And so, you know, I lived out in New York, and I would call up executives and I'd just be like, yo, I have tickets to the Yankees game, but I can't go unless you attend. So here's my offer to you. We'll go to the Yankees game. We can grab dinner before, drinks on me. and we'll spend all 9 innings not talking anything about IBM. Like, we'll just have fun, shoot the crap, whatever, chill. At the very end, I'm going to give you a 5-minute spiel of why I should work with you or why you should work with us. And you can tell me no, and we'll have a great time at the Yankees game. My company's happy because I brought the CTO of Pepsi to the Yankees game, and, no pressure. You promise me you're not going to talk to me about IBM. Promise you. So I get them drunk, full on Mr. Chow. The Yankees win. It's freaking great times. We talked about nothing about IBM. So at the end, he's like, yo, so thank you for tonight. It's been great. You're awesome. Tell me about IBM and why I should work with you. I say, well, we've done XYZ for other companies like you. I like to talk to Becky, John, and David about this, and then we'll come back to you and tell you, what they think. And they're like, oh, that's all I need to do is get you with them. I'm like, yeah, that's all I need. So then a week later, boardroom, he comes in, yo, me and him bonded at the Yankees game. He's great. Listen to what he's got to say and then come back to me and tell me what you think. And so like those type of experiences, I don't think you can get through coding.
Yeah.
And
You can't.
and so like you can get really creative around conferences. Like, all right, let's throw happy hours and different things. Now you're not just going like the goal with the Yankees game is to get a $250,000 deal with Pepsi. But those are the type of things and experiences. I fly around the country all the time, different hotels, rental cars, all paid by my company, dinners paid by my company. So like those are the type of stuff that I think tech sales is a lot more fun if you are a social person.
Absolutely.
And the conferences too, man, they be having celebrity performances and open bars and all kinds of stuff. So like, we've had salespeople get in trouble on those trips for sure. But yeah, that's my kind of what makes tech sales pretty interesting, and is that. And then if you work remote, then that's pretty cool too. Like in terms of, you can work from anywhere in the world as long as you're getting stuff done.
Yeah, that is dope. I would do it.
Yeah,
You should.
I should.
yeah,
What is the most common myth people believe about sales that holds them back?
that you have to like be a big talker. You really the best salespeople ask the best questions and get the customer talking more.
Oh,
Because the more the customer talks, the more they can tell you exactly what they need to get a deal done. So people think that it's about me just like talking your ear off in submission and you're like, all right, I'll buy. Whereas really it's like, so if we could accomplish anything with your team, what would the biggest important thing be for us to accomplish? Well, number one, we need this, and number two, we need that. Number three, we need this. Number four, we need this. And why we need that is because da da da. So what you're telling me is you need 1, 2, 3, and 4. And if we're able to do that, then that's something that you can move forward with. Yeah, absolutely. So how can we illustrate to you how we can do 1, 2, 3, and 4? What are the best ways for us to really convey that to you, to make you feel comfortable? Well, I need to see a reference, call with one of your customers. I need to see da da da. I need to see da da da. I need to see this technical document. All right. So if we're able to show you 1, 2, 3, and 4, that we're able to do 1, 2, 3, and 4, then we're ready to move forward. Yes. Is there anything that would hold us back from moving forward after we get to this point? Well, we need to talk to procurement because we're over this $200,000 purchase limit. So we're going to have to get this and that done. We need to go to technical to get the security review done. Like, that's not me convincing them of anything. That's me asking the right questions. And then once I have the right information, then I speak. But I'm not speaking to convince them of anything. I'm just following their process to make sure that they have all the information they need. And the other thing is like salespeople aren't trustworthy, where it's like that comes from all the lying and capping and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so the best thing that I could say is then be the most honest salesperson on your team, in your industry, in your state. And you will see yourself stand out and get more results because of that. And so, like, the more questions I ask, the more people trust me. And then the more I follow through on the things I said I was going to do, the more they trust me. And so it's about asking questions because now when I speak, after you've spoken for an hour, you're leaning in because I have an hour's worth of information that I'm responding to versus me coming in speaking to you for an hour and you're like, this dude doesn't even know what I do or what I
What
care
I
about.
need, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's a huge misconception, and that's my approach to the misconception.
Oh, well, how do you build confidence if you're not like a natural salesperson or a natural seller?
It's really just about repetition. I would say understanding that you are going to fail, and embrace that part of the process. Embrace the fact that you're going to get told no like a million times. So before I worked at IBM, I did a summer internship in college where I sold educational products door to door.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm knocking on doors in Kentucky and they're calling me the N word. They're sticking dogs on me. They're slamming doors in my face. Bless you.
Thank you.
They're calling the cops on me. And for 3 weeks, I sold nothing. But what I had to just remind myself of is just like every no is one closer step to your next yes. You know, do your best, let God take care of the rest. You know,
Love that.
yeah, like just focus on the things you can control. You know, your attitude determines your altitude. So it's just like having a mindset of I'm gonna constantly get told no, and that's okay. But what I'm gonna get better at is asking the right questions. My pitch is gonna get better, like just focusing on what I can improve. And so that's what I would just tell anybody going to tech sales, just like expect to be terrible, expect to get told no a lot, expect to struggle, but just gain confidence in the little things that you do better. And if you go into it petrified to hear no and then just heartbroken when you hear no, you're not going to last long. So, and also, if you know your product is great, you know the results you have are great, you're not as stressed out about a no. You're just like, dang, you're really missing out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I literally have 3x revenue right behind this door. You just have to open it. You don't want to open it? All right, cool. I'm going to go offer this door to somebody else. Like, so, like, I'm not even tripping. Like, all right, you just missed out. It's like literally like me having a duffel bag of $1,000, walking up to people, being like, "Hey, would you like $1,000?" They're like, "No." Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not
Okay.
tripping because I could have changed. I could have really changed your day, but because you're like, you're a stranger danger. I don't. You're trying to sell me something, and so I get it because salespeople are everywhere, like telesales. Like even me, like when I get somebody from telesales, I'm trying to be nice, but I'm just like,
It's hard.
I don't have nothing for you, sir, ma'am. And so you just have to not take it personally too, because if I would have called from their position, you know, you would have told me no, and you would have been right to say no. So try to find products that give you confidence because you know that like all of their competitors and colleagues are using us and they're missing out. And so then you're like, let me call this person again because they just don't understand what I got. And by the fourth or fifth or sixth time you've done that, they're like, all right, man, what you got? Oh, shoot, you do that? Why didn't you say that? I did say it the first 5 times, but you hung up on me, dude. You know what I'm saying? And that gives you confidence. Like when I close somebody that told me no like 20 times, that gives me confidence. It's like, all right, cool. We're at number 8. Bet let me get to like 15 and I might leave you alone. So yeah, hopefully that helps somebody.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, there was something you mentioned earlier. You talked about transferable skills, right? Could you kind of like outline what you mean by that, what transferable skills are, if people haven't heard that terminology before, and what transferable skills are, for the tech sales, arena?
Yeah, so transferable skills are just things you've done in past companies or for past organizations that will be useful at the new job that you're applying to. And so, sales transferable skills, like obviously, if you've done sales anywhere, that's helpful. If you have presented like debate or just presented well at your university, talking about that, or presented at different organizations, just like in front of, boardrooms, etc. That's helpful. Um, I would say like um, email outreach, LinkedIn outreach. If you've done that in any capacity to basically communicate information to create some sort of result, even if it wasn't like a sale, it's like, hey, I'm communicating because, I'm managing a project.
Mhm.
So, like, doing any kind of project management is helpful because you're basically managing a project when you're managing a sales cycle. You have a whole like list of things that you need to accomplish, and you got a bunch of people that you are delegating things to. Like, hey, SDR, call these people in my territory. Sales engineer, I need you to answer this RFP. Technical team, I need you to review the security document. So, like, you're managing a whole process, and you're also trying to understand and manage the customer's process. So, like, project management is super huge. But in terms of like people transferring into tech, I would say like the resource that I would like point people to is an organization called Always Hired. And so what they do is they actually work with startups as like a staffing firm.
Mhm.
And so they interview people and understand, all right, do you have the chops to really get this done? And then they train you and they help place you with different organizations. And the thing I like about them is that they identify your transferable skills, the things you've done in the past, and they try to match you with the best startup based off of that. So, what's your industry experience? What are the work experience? And like basically redo your resume, your cover letter, and prep you for interviews, and also give you like AI tools that you can utilize for the job search and then actually at the job. So during the interview, you're like, yeah, I would use Fathom AI to document my notes when speaking to a customer. I would use, this email AI to basically manage and organize my emails while also putting together templates for this. So they do all of that. So like, um, if you are interested in that, definitely feel free to hit me in the DMs. And then I'll probably like give you a link that you can throw in the caption. But um, transferable skills, it's super helpful if you have somebody kind of coach you through it. But even if you don't, then just think through the job description and the minimum requirements. Like those are the skills that you have to think, what have I done in the past that speaks a strong story about how I can easily pick up whatever they're giving me. And so like job descriptions are like the grail to identify how you should approach interviews, what are the stories you should talk about during interviews, and then like what are the skill sets that you might want to pick up at some point. So by the time that you get in front of a tech sales recruiter, you can talk about how you've prospected into accounts, how you've follow up on tasks to complete them, how you manage projects, um, those type of things.
Awesome, awesome. And and also I want to ask, let's say somebody wants they let's say this exact scenario happens. Let's play a scenario game.
Oh, I love the
Let's say you
scenarios.
love the scenarios, right? Let's say I am a young, let's say 28-year-old woman, right? 29-year-old woman who wants to break into tech sales, doesn't have a tech background, right? But has a lot of experience with, let's say, being an influencer, speaking. They speak very well. They're intelligent. They have degrees. Like they're a smart person, right? And they're looking to break into tech sales. They heard you speak just now. They like what you're saying. Let's say that person was to reach out to you or see you at like a conference and you give them advice. Let's say that person's in front of you right now. What advice would you give them just to like start them on the right trajectory, like the first step?
Yeah,
That's detailed, right?
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of different steps, but I would say the first step would be to like your LinkedIn. You know what I'm saying? Like, um, if you don't have a LinkedIn, get one. And I would just tell them like, hey, feel free to look at my LinkedIn and look at all the things that I've filled out and fill them out to the best of your ability. And then look at SDR roles, sales development representative roles. Look at the minimum requirements that are listed on the top 10 SDR roles at companies that you're interested in, and start looking at those bullets and how can you write bullets that speak to those things, and then add those into your LinkedIn. See some of those keywords so that search engine optimization, recruiters, and different employers starts picking up on different words that they want to see. They'll be in the job description, so put them in your LinkedIn, and then from there, like, I would just say, go to tech conferences, especially if you're an attractive 28-year-old woman, and just start networking with people and just saying like, hey, I am a strong passion to be a sales development representative. I saw that they're hiring at your company, or if they are hired at your company, I would love for you to be a referral, and try to get referred to as many companies as you can through top performers that are in tech sales or just top performers within the company, and get your resume past the applicant tracking system and away from the hundreds of people applying on LinkedIn, so that you have an asterisk next to your name saying, hey, Arthur, Big Papa recommended me. And, everybody loves Big Papa. So they're going to give you a shot. And your LinkedIn is speaking to everything that they want to see. And then your resume should do the same. And then I would also, tell her you should go to jobsearchgenius.ai, which is my startup. Get your resume updated, your cover letters updated, track your jobs, track your contacts, use it for salary and benefit negotiation, put in your offer letter, and get some advice on the 4 different ways you can counter offer. I would like to say, hey, I'll try it out for free 7 days. And then, if you like it, keep using it. So, and I'll also say always hired if she has the time and the energy to apply for that.
Awesome. That's great initial advice.
Amazing. She should take it.
Yeah.
She should. Awesome. Well, I wanted to give you space to talk about anything that you, because we asked you a bunch of questions. I wanted to give you space to like speak about things that you think that are that you would like the audience to know, and also any things that we didn't ask you that you think are important.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I mean, I was rambling so much. I feel like I got a lot of it out, because y'all weren't even asking questions. I was just having a stream of consciousness.
You were answering them before we asked.
Yeah,
like,
Loki.
okay, not that one now.
Yeah, subconsciously, I saw the questions before, so I was kind of like, all right, let me make sure I get this info out. But, yeah, no, I just want to just let people know, like, VP of strategy and sales at RightC. And I think that AI is just so important for us to get a handle on. Like, obviously, I plug my company's AI. We help with resumes, cover letters, interview prep, salary negotiation. But like, it's so important for Black young founders like ourselves. I'm not a founder, but like my colleagues, they're founders, to really put our stamp on AI. So becoming AI engineers, working for AI companies, selling AI, obviously being engineers of the AI, and I think it's super important. So I would just implore everybody that embrace AI in the sense of research what activities that you hate doing can be automated and improved and more effective with AI. And then utilize that in your job search, not only by using our product, but also talking about how you're going to utilize AI to be more effective at the job once you get hired. I think that's going to be something that some managers are not expecting, but they're going to be like, he might be able to do the work of two people because, the way that he'll automate emails, the way that he'll, put together projects in 30 minutes that would have taken him 4 hours. So I think that's super important. So just kind of throwing that out there. And then I would also just say, kind of talking about the referral thing, like hit these tech conferences up because ain't nobody coming to save us. And DEI is kind of being misused and misrepresented right now, and slashed in every direction. So, like, attend these tech conferences and really build up your network and identify how you can add value to people so that people can be proactive about seeing how they can add value to you. And just have that network that you can fall back on so that when layoffs happen, you have 10 people that are ready to hand your resume over to a hiring manager quickly. And so, yeah, those are some things that I would say. And then I would also say, like, from a tech conference standpoint, if you are a subject matter expert like yourself, right, take advantage of the branding opportunities of speaking at these tech conferences, especially Black tech conferences. So if you've been in tech for 5+ years, I would recommend you start applying to get on these stages so that, you never know who's in the room that can hear what you're saying. You never know what recruiters and hiring managers are in the room. And you do know who the sponsors are. So all those sponsors, they spend 30, 50, $100,000 to be at these tech conferences, especially these Black tech conferences. They want to come back with, hey, we hired 5 incredible Black employees to our company, right? But what's the even bigger cherry on top? Hey, we were able to get Arthur, who spoke on stage, to leave his company to work for us.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And so, like, I this year, one of the things that I've been doing is I started a speaker agency called Big Stage Energy.
Oh,
Oh.
nice.
Yes.
I know about that, yeah.
Yeah, so people like yourself and others that know what you're talking about. You have a brand, you have an offer, you consult, you have a course, you have an ebook, you whatever the case is. They just don't know that you can get on hundreds of stages and have relationships with all these stages. So yeah, if you're somebody that has some experience in tech, or even if you're new to tech, there's value in you sharing how you were able to navigate your way in, how you'll be able to be successful in your first year or two. But if you have 10+ years experience, then like you are kind of missing out on an opportunity to have your face and your brand amplified to hundreds of thousands of people. But more importantly, a lot of hiring managers, a lot of VCs, a lot of podcasts, a lot of other conferences that pay. So that's just something that has been like a new thing for me because just organically, I have relationships with all the conferences. I have relationships with people that have subject matter expertise. So my service is just matching you with all the conferences so that once you're done working with me, you basically are tapped in with baddies in tech. You're tapped in with Black men in tech, Black women talk tech, render, text giving, Black is tech, Black men talk tech. Like you're just tapped in with all of them. And when the recessions hit and the layoffs happen, you know, even the sponsors of Black is Tech and being like, hey, I saw you were one of the sponsors of Black is Tech. I actually spoke on stage about UI UX. I'm actually interested in your UI UX role. It goes a long way. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. Something that people might not be thinking about, but it's a little niche that I'm kind of helping people with. And we got a bunch of people booked for Diversitech, ByteCon, got a couple other conferences, Obsidi and Black is Tech Conference and Blacks in Tech Conference and Baddies in Tech and et cetera, like that I'm close with. But then my partner who runs blacktechglobal.com. So if you're looking for Black Tech conferences, blacktechglobal.com is a free website. Lists all the Black Tech conferences happening. But he's my partner. And so like if I don't know somebody, they do. And then I'm just connecting people like yourselves to them. And It's been cool. So if you're not interested in being a speaker, attend tech conferences to build up your network, because referrals are the best way to get into tech. And then if you are somebody that's been in the space, think about getting on stages, whether it's with me or just applying on your own. Take advantage of these opportunities to get in front of investors and hiring managers. And then if you're somebody that has like consultations, a course, an ebook, you go to a tech conference, you do your call to action, you put your QR code up, that tech conference could turn into, a couple $1,000s, 5 figures, 6 figures, depending on what you do. So think of it as a business development stream as well. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, like I said, I didn't even know about that. We need to talk.
Yeah.
We do. Talk.
No, for real. You definitely do.
Awesome. Cool.
Well, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. And yeah, if you're interested in connecting, connect with me on LinkedIn. All my first degree connections are open, so you can see everybody I'm connected with and, tap in with them. Instagram is Dr. J, DOCTAJ. YouTube, I have a podcast called Big Tech Energy. I'm going to start releasing some new episodes soon. And if you are interested in breaking into tech sales, definitely tap in with Always Hired. You can just reach out to me directly, or, maybe I'll be able to put a link in the caption where you can, interview off of my referral. But it's a great way to get trained and placed into tech sales. And yeah, if you're interested in getting on stages, tap in with me, Big Stage Energy. We'll do a quick consultation call, see if it makes sense, because I definitely only want to work with people that can actually talk their stuff on stage. And I don't want my friends doing me a favor, when I say, hey, put them on stage. I want them to be like, oh, they're dope. So there's a selectiveness to it. And also I want to make sure that I deliver on what I say I'm going to do. But yeah, if you're interested in getting on stages, tap me on Big Stage Energy. And yeah, I think that's all I got, man. Appreciate you.
Man, they call me Mr. CTO. I'm the one that you should call when you learn to code. Success follow me around if you didn't know. From the bottom,